militia releases senior government military commanders on tribal mediation. Houthis continue to bomb military sites in populated areas in Al-Dala. U.S. announces confiscating Iranian oil cargo in the international waters. Welcome to Yemen Today TV. This is English News and Shazab Al-Bay. Houthi militia released senior government commander Faisal Rajab after 8 years in detention. The release of Faisal came after a tribal delegation from Abyan moved to Sana'a and met with the Houthi officials to discuss the possibility of releasing the military commander. This report has more details.
The terrorist Houthi militia released Major General Faisal Rajab, who had been in their detentions for 8 years. The release of Major General Faisal Rajab from Houthi detention centers came under a tribal initiative that puts the prisoner negotiations between the government and the Houthis into a real test. It came as a turning point and a real benchmark to prove the militia's credibility in ending the entire prisoner exchange file. Now, all eyes are on the Houthi behavior regarding prisoners' deal with the government. And the question comes, will the prisoners languishing in the Houthi prisons be released by the militia's generosity, while most of them remain in the prisons of the terrorist militia? The Houthis show generosity on an elderly military commander who remained in their prisons for 8 whole years and rejected all previous attempts to release him and isolated him completely, even from contact with his family, for nothing except that he committed to the military honor when he defended a constitutional state that was attacked by the rebels. Perhaps everyone was happy with the release of Major General Faisal Rajab, but what is iconic about it is that the terrorist militia, responding to a tribal initiative, is trying in vain to polish its false tribal face. It shows its appreciation for tribal customs as an integral part of the Yemeni identity, ignoring that it was the one who tampered with all customs of the Yemeni tribe. The terrorist Houthi militia is the one who disrespected the dignity of the tribes, tarnished their face, and committed brutal practices against them in all areas that refused to submit to its authority. The militia deliberately broke the spine of the Yemeni tribe in order to instill the customs of its dynasty. The Houthis started with stirring up strife between the tribes and striking their areas with drones and armored vehicles while attacking them in their home. The Houthi militia honor the tribes by killing their sheikhs and sons, holding them in prisons and detention centers, confiscating their private property, blowing up their homes with explosives to eject them from their homes. They looted large areas of their lands and killed their women and children, as happened in Al-Bayda, Ibn Ma'rib, and Al-Jawf. The recent Houthi step is nothing but a new nail in the coffin of the Yemeni tribe, far from the false hopes of peace with the Houthi militia, which affirms every day its distance from peace and a sustainable solution to a crisis they have created.
Al-Qaeda in the Arabian Peninsula based in Yemen claimed responsibility for 3 bombings in Abyan. In addition, the organization stated that the commander of the 3rd Mass in Abyan was targeted with an explosive device that killed him and injured a number of his companions. The statement added that 2 successive explosive devices also targeted 2 military people in Abyan. MIUN Organization for Human Rights warned of the Houthi summer camps. A statement issued by MIUN said these camps have a negative impact on the youth, noting that it documented in the past year the systematic recruitment of children and sectarian activities in those camps. Houthi militia continues to bomb military sites of the government forces in populated areas in Al-Dala. Such acts confirmed that the rebels would never commit to peace. This report has more details.
From here, the Iranian-backed Houthi militia passed, leaving more victims and losses of public and private property in many areas of Al-Dala Governorate. At a time when efforts are being made to establish peace and stop military operations, We find that what's happening on the fronts north and west of El Dola says otherwise. Hardly a day goes without the Houthi militia deliberately target military sites, vehicles, and residential areas, adjacent to the line of fire with their drone missiles, sniper bullets, and various other weapons. Even ambulances were not excluded from that shelling.
How does the international community talk about peace and truce while the Houthi militia bomb military fronts on a daily basis with their drones and weapons? They bomb residential areas with no mercy. There should be no talks or negotiations with this militia. We have to eliminate them.
9 years and the Houthi militia has been committing crimes and persisting in its violations against innocent civilians, their property and farms in the north and west of El Dola. Their weapons and mines have caused deaths, injuries, and the displacement of more than 1,000 families, not to mention its continued blocking of the main roads in Qataba, El Fakhr, Ib, Maris, and Sana'a, which has doubled the suffering of citizens and forced them to use primitive means to travel through rugged and dangerous roads. Without the sponsors of the armistice and peace pay any attention to such Houthi crimes.
The Houthi militia continues bluffing the international community and the UN envoy to Yemen with their talks about peace. However, in reality, they keep targeting and shelling our locations with snipers and drones. They also target residential areas, killing civilians and injuring hundreds.
At a time when the international community is talking about peace and truce, the Houthi militia continues its escalation on the fronts north and west of El Dola, where its drones, snipers, and various weapons target military sites and residential areas. The matter reveals the truth of its intentions and the falseness of its talks about peace and truce.
Masan project for demining announced it cleared more than 3,000 mines since the beginning of April. According to international reports, since the war broke out in late 2014, the Houthi militia has planted more than 2 million multi-purpose mines. U.S. authorities ordered a tanker of Iranian crude oil to redirect towards the U.S. in recent days. The aim of such U.S. intervention is to call a ship loaded with Iranian crude, originally designated for China, and was meant to set up enforcements on sanctions on Tehran. This report has more details.
The U.S. confiscated Iranian oil on a tanker at sea in recent days in a sanctions enforcement operation, and days later Iran seized another oil-laden tanker in retaliation. The cargo seizure is the latest escalation between Washington and Tehran after years of sanctions pressure by the U.S. over Iran's nuclear program. Iran does not recognize the sanctions, and its oil exports have been rising. Tehran says its nuclear program is for civilian purposes, while Washington suspects Iran wants to develop a nuclear bomb. According to sources, maritime security company Embraer said the U.S. confiscation took place at least 5 days before Iran's actions on Thursday. Both tankers were Suezmax-sized. Iran has previously responded tit for tat following seizures of Iranian oil cargo. Washington took control of oil cargo aboard the Marshall Island tanker Suez Rajan after securing an earlier court order. The tanker last reported position was near Southern Africa on April 22nd. The U.S. Navy said Iran seized the Marshall Islands flag tanker in the Gulf of Oman on Thursday, the latest seizure or attack by Tehran on commercial vessels in sensitive Gulf waters. The tanker ignored radio calls for 8 hours following a collision with an Iran boat, which left several crewmen injured and 3 missing. In a step likely to exacerbate tension, 12 U.S. senators on Thursday urged President Joe Biden to remove Treasury Department policy handles that have prevented the Department of Homeland Security from seizing Iranian oil shipments for more than a year. Earlier in 2020, Washington confiscated 4 cargoes of Iranian fuel aboard foreign ships that were bound for Venezuela and transferred them with the help of undisclosed foreign partners onto 2 other ships, which then sailed to the U.S.
Coming next on the news. Intaz Community Initiative organizes a cultural festival in Eid holidays. In Taiz, despite hard living conditions due to the war and Houthi blockade, a community initiative led by the youth in the city has organized a cultural event in Eid holiday. This report has more details.
The youth of At-Turba organized the Eid festival under the title Eid Bundle in At-Turba University. Through this festival, joy was brought into the hearts of the people and children through entertainment, competitions and many encouraging prizes. The festival provided an opportunity for all working hands in At-Turba to participate by displaying products and marketing handicrafts, making essence, detergents, accessories, jewelry, antiques and gifts and much more during the Eid days of Al-Fitr.
I would like to explain to you the idea of the festival, which consists of entertainment activities such as competitions, poetry, and a musical band shows. There is a bazaar which is dedicated to businesswomen to sell their products at reduced prices. I thank At-Turba University and Taiz for allowing us to hold the event here.
Moreover, the displaced women participated by selling pastries, and the women felt overwhelming joy and happiness by selling their products while listening to Yemeni songs.
We are a humanitarian initiative and also affiliated with the Fadul Band and the Fan Musical Band to revive folklore. We held this festival to make the people of At-Turba as well as the displaced people happy. The event includes the cultural entertainment festival and the bazaar that promote for entrepreneurial women. We thank the president of At-Turba University for allowing us to set up this festival.
The attendees expressed their great happiness during the blessed days of Eid al-Fitr through this humanitarian initiative that draws smiles on the faces of children.
I wanted to participate in the bazaar by selling accessories and decorating wedding tables at reasonable prices, and there is a turnout from everyone. The festival was a wonderful gesture.
Such initiatives help entrepreneurs to promote for their products and provide things at low price for the citizens during this dire economic situation.
A second batch of Yemeni national refugees from Sudan arrived at the King Faisal base in Jeddah, Saudi Arabia. This comes with the continued gathering of hundreds of Yemenis stranded in the city port of Sudan. The number of Yemenis who returned from Sudan to Jeddah are 485 nationals. 4 people drowned after the collapse of a water dam in Al-Mahwit, northwest of Yemen. The collapse also caused the loss of lands that extended to more than 2 kilometers with a wide of about 100 meters. Media sources said rescue teams of the Civil Defense Authority are continuing to search for missing victims after the collapse of Al-Aqabi Dam as a result of the torrential rains that the region witnessed in recent days. The administration of displaced camps in Ma'rib warned of the danger of rains. The warning comes with the forecast by the National Center of Weather Forecasting of thunderstorms in the next 24 hours in many regions of Yemen, including Ma'rib. The administration renewed warning, adding that the camps are not ready to deal with the rains. The World Health Organization said children in Yemen have the right to be vaccinated. They also advised Yemenis to protect their children and give them a healthy life through vaccination campaigns. At the same time, the World Health Organization warned of increasing cases of polio in Yemen, especially in Houthi areas. They prevented vaccines of epidemics into cities, risking the lives of many children. The World Bank warned that the global food security remains under danger despite decrease in some supplies prices. Such a warning was voiced in a recent report released by the World Bank. This report has more details.
Global commodity prices are expected to decline this year at the fastest clip since the onset of the COVID-19 pandemic, clouding the growth prospects of almost two-thirds of developing economies that depend on commodity exports, according to the World Bank's latest Commodity Markets Outlook report. However, according to the bank's report, lower prices are expected to bring little relief to the nearly 350 million people worldwide who face food insecurity. Although food prices are expected to decline 8% in 2023, they will be at the second highest level since 1975. The World Bank's chief economist and senior vice president for development economics said that the surge in food and energy prices after Russia's invasion of Ukraine has passed mainly due to slowing economic growth, a moderate winter, and reallocations in the commodity trade. According to the World Bank, commodity prices are expected to decline by 21% in 2023 compared to last year. Energy prices are also likely to drop by 26% this year. Fertilizer prices are expected to decline by 37%, their most significant annual decline since 1974. For his part, Deputy Chief Economist and Director of the Economic Prospects Group at the World Bank explained that the decline in commodity prices over the past year has helped reduce global headline inflation. Despite the significant declines expected this year, prices for all major commodity groups will remain well above their average. A key finding of this study is that future prices, which are widely used in price predictions, often lead to significant errors. Econometric models based on multiple independent variables tend to outperform other approaches in future prices. But this is of little comfort to consumers in many countries. In real terms, food prices will remain at one of the highest levels of the past 5 decades. Governments should avoid trade restrictions and protect their poorest citizens, using targeted income support programs rather than price controls.
Here's a reminder of the main headlines. Houthi militia released a senior government military commander on tribal mediation. Houthis continue to bomb military sites in populated areas in Angola. U.S. announces confiscating Iranian oil cargo in the international waters. This is the end of the news. It was Shazad Bidai. Thank you for watching.